Is Phoenix Suns the most hated team in the NBA? People who were Suns fans back in the day, during the Charles Barkley era, remember when the Phoenix Suns were eliminated from the playoffs by the Houston Rockets in 1994 and 1995. Hakeem Olajuwon was one of the greatest basketball players ever, and the Rockets' best player. He was bigger than any Phoenix Sun and controlled both ends of the court. However, Suns fans do not like him. Hakeem, in point of fact, irate fan criticism has never been directed at the game or Olajuwon's character. Want to know about it in detail? Well, stay tuned till the end. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will talk about, is Phoenix Suns the most hated team in the NBA? Meanwhile, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. That being done, let's start. Steve Nash had won MVP honors for 2 years in a row, 2004-5 and 2005-6. The Suns won the first of the two awards in the same season that they reached the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 1993. In a dominant 4-1 series victory, the Spurs eliminated the Suns from the postseason quickly. The Suns started the playoffs as the #1 team the following year, second-ranked seed in the West, and reached the Western Conference Finals once more. With the league's most valuable player still in charge, the Suns would undoubtedly be able to avoid another disappointment at the same stage, where they failed last year. Despite the fact that they struggled to get past both the rebuilding Lakers and the overachieving Clippers. The Suns lost 4-2 because they were outmatched once more. The Suns failed to win what many people had falsely believed was theirs all season long, in yet another NBA season, the NBA crown. You probably want to know how making the Western Conference Finals twice in a row makes you the league's worst team at this point. Now, please allow me to dispel any misunderstandings regarding the message of this article. The Suns are not the worst team in the NBA when it comes to raw talent. They are far from each other. One of the best point guards we've seen in recent years is Steve Nash, period. In 1900s, Phoenix and Robert Horry both resented each other when they were together. He didn't contribute anything, and he even once threw a towel in the face of coach Danny Ainge during a game, indicating that he didn't want to work as hard as Ainge wanted. After that, Horry was quickly traded to the struggling Lakers in exchange for former Sun Ced Ceballos, who had also caused a stir when he took a long, unapproved weekend off to go jet skiing in the middle of the season. Horry went on to win 6 more championships as a supporting player, one of which he won after knocking Steve Nash into the scoreboard. This only serves to exacerbate the bad taste he left in the mouths of Suns fans. He was traded to Dallas in exchange for Jason Kidd just 2 months into his first Suns season. Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, and Jim Jackson, 3 young guard and wing talents, had been tried and tried again by Dallas. Kidd traveled to Phoenix as the beginning of the purge. After a year, it came to an end when Jackson and Cassell were traded to a New Jersey for Sean Bradley and other players. The majority of teams can be legitimate playoff contenders thanks to him alone. The issue is, that's it. Even when surrounded by talented players, Steve Nash's value is typically limited to playoff contention. Although it is obvious that the league awarded the Nash the MVP because they thought he was the best player on the team, the so-called ultimate team player repeatedly demonstrated that, despite having a solid supporting cast, neither he nor any team he played for could be trusted completely. Ironically, the Suns' absurdly out-of-place mascot displayed both the one thing their team lacked and the one characteristic shared by champions everywhere: the capacity to don a gorilla costume. For those who aren't familiar with the phrase, putting on a gorilla suit means to be tough, fierce, and sometimes even dirty. This was the problem. Nash lacked all grit, ferocity, and anything remotely resembling a killer instinct. As a result, the team that was largely built around him was also weak. As a result, during their 4-1 series defeat, the Spurs, a team that is not particularly known for its physicality, brutalized the Suns. They won all of their playoff games and made it to the finals with only 3 losses. Their great playoff run was capped off by a 5-game sweep of the Spurs, who were the world champions at the time. However, they have constantly pushed around throughout the entire finals series. They were outbounded and couldn't stop the Celtics from scoring inside and outside. They even appeared to be intimidated, as evidenced by their unusually poor free throw shooting. Additionally, they acquired an old fossil that completely contradicts their playstyle by trading one of their core players. Wait, that's a different team. The Lakers didn't make any last-minute trades or prepare for the following season the same as they had during the previous one. They simply understood. After realizing the obvious reason why they aren't NBA champions today, they examined the game tape and made adjustments. Mental ones, not just from a roster. The Lakers have never appeared stronger heading into the playoffs than they do now. Even though the NBA season is far from over, none of their 3 consecutive years, not during the time of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson, never. The Suns are the worst team in the NBA because they refuse to change. Not because of their talent, they were a day late and had less than a few dollars left when they finally realized they had to. Please inform Steve Kerr that overcoming a weakness at the expense of nearly all of your strengths will not improve your situation. It almost seems sad. The Suns have completely failed to take advantage of their regular season success, which virtually no other NBA team has achieved over the past 5 years. The Spurs, Pistons, Mavericks, and Heat are the other league teams that have remained consistent over the past 5 years. At least, the Heat were before their terrible slump last year. Yes, Dwayne Wade was hurt, Shaq was traded. Even though he was traded late in the season, the team was hurt. But hot damn! The Heat lost fewer games this year than the New England Patriots did. However, I digress. Back to the point now. 3 of these 4 teams have won championships, and each of them has at least once advanced to the finals in each of the past 5 seasons. Neither have the Suns do. Their admittedly impressive recent win-loss totals in the NBA's final standings and Steve Nash's MVP awards are all that can speak for them. Their window of opportunity is now nearly closed, fastened shut with superglue. The Suns will be doomed to be eliminated in the first round, even if they do make the playoffs this year. I apologize to the viewers, I didn't keep my word. I intended to shoot Steve Nash less often than I did. He plays well. Unfortunately for him, you can't make a mound of dung into a birthday cake by adding a cherry. I do feel sorry for Nash, even though it's not entirely his fault. His team may be the best at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. He may eventually locate a team with a cast strong enough to provide all of the necessary physicality. In that case, all he will need to do is bring his finesse. After all, I wouldn't tell you that just thinking about him arriving in Philadelphia in some way makes me smile a little. Take a look at the 76ers. They can bang and defend like the best of them. Their issue is that, except the 2 Andres, I'm about as good as any scorer they have. This team is in desperate need of a strong offensive catalyst like Nash, even if it meant benching Miller. The Sixers, unfortunately, are also not the best at adjusting. During Monty Williams' first season as their head coach, the Suns committed the 2nd most fouls in the NBA. During Igor Kokoskov's first and final season, leading the Suns in the 2018-19, the team tied Atlanta for the most fouls committed in a single season. With a record of 19-63, this was Phoenix's 2nd worst season in franchise history. When Earl Watson was fired after a 0-3 start and replaced by Jay Triano, Phoenix received the 3rd most fouls in the 2017-18 season. In 2017-18, the Suns won just 21 games. The Suns hired Williams 2 seasons later, and while they continued to commit fouls at an alarming rate, they have been called for fewer fouls in each of the past 2 seasons. In terms of total fouls, Phoenix and Denver are tied for 14th in the 2020-21 season and the 19th in 2021-22. The Suns, on the other hand, finished the 2020-21 season with the league's best record, having finished 2nd in the NBA. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments down below. And that's all for the day, guys. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update from us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you at the next one. Until then, peace.